Here in the United States, another wildfire has erupted in Southern California. Firefighters are still working to contain other blazes in the area as well as Northern California. This all while residents are dealing with power outages throughout the state. RT correspondent Natasha Sweatte has the latest from Simi Valley. Natasha?
Hey, Steve, you know, the Easy Fire here in Simi Valley, right by the Ronald Reagan Library, has literally exploded. Mandatory evacuations are in place as the fire has grown to nearly 1,300 acres. And officials say that this new wind-driven wildfire started just before dawn. Continual airdrops were being made near the 118 freeway, then made closer to the Ronald Reagan Library. Officials are concerned just how close the fire is to homes. Many people with horses here also having to deal with getting their animals to a safer place. The 60-mile-per-hour winds continue to fuel this fire, and evacuations are in place for much of Simi Valley, Thousand Oaks, and Moore Park. Officials have determined the cause of the Getty fire. It's reported a tree branch fell on power lines. Video footage shows a eucalyptus branch breaking off and sparking the fire off North Sepulveda Boulevard. That fire is 15% contained and has burned about 650 acres. And LeBron James, who was one of thousands who had to evacuate, rented a taco van to feed firefighters and police officers who are still fighting the Getty fire.
You know, and knowing the situation that they've been going through the last few days, knowing today is Taco Tuesday, knowing today was the anniversary of my first game, and we had another game tonight, so everything kind of lined up. But just giving my respect and understanding how important they are to this whole situation.
In Northern California, more than 10,000 people remain evacuated. The Kincade fire has burned more than 76,000 acres, destroying 189 structures, and is at 15% containment. The narrow roads and steep terrain is making it difficult for firefighters to access some areas.
We're at the time of year where we haven't seen any moisture in our fuel beds for an extended period of time. The fuels are critically dry. They are receptive to new fire as well as fire spread.
Well, this marks the third round of intentional blackouts for Pacific Gas and Electric customers. It's affecting about 1.5 million people in 29 counties, including 1 million still without power from a shutoff from over the weekend. PG&E said power lines may have started two smaller wildfires in Lafayette, about 20 miles east of San Francisco. But frustration continues to mount for residents.
The whole idea of just shutting down an entire area in case maybe a fire happens just seems a little bit like they're just trying to, it looks like they're trying to do it for show so that they can say to the bankruptcy court or say to the state, hey, we did our best, you know, to reduce their own liability or whatever.
Officials say after this wind event in Northern California, they should see more favorable conditions for the next 5 to 7 days. And now it's interesting because a spokeswoman for the Ronald Reagan Library says that goats actually come to the library grounds every year and eat the vegetation as a means of fire prevention. So hopefully it helps, because officials are saying that these are some of the strongest winds that they've seen so far this season. Steve?
Wow, what a crazy situation, terrible situation throughout the state, and it's almost a miracle that the Reagan Library wasn't touched. Thank you, Natasha, very much.
Certainly.
It's hard to clear through the debris and get right down to the nitty-gritty that is real news.
New details are coming to light in the case of Jeffrey Epstein as more
spread between the 2-year Treasury yield and the 10-year Treasury yield.
Several hundred students are staging a sit-in.
the Amazon rainforest, and the blame game is underway. It's time for RT America. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button.